Holly Stevenson from the Gold Industry Group. There's a Maori fella who does like gumboot. Is it Mike?
Mike King.
Is it Mike King? That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's actually out there.
Yeah. There's a few amazing organisations. So also a guy that I had worked with, Jay Geldard. Him and his wife started Etu Tangata, which means standing tall. So
Obviously, with your experience, perfect for this role at the Gold Industry Group. You got any big names on the board?
Oh wow, you saw one of them recently.
I did.
So we're led by Wayne Bramwell from West Gold. And our vice is Rebecca Choddy from Northern Star Resources.
Wow. What's the main goal of the Gold Industry Group? Welcome back to another episode on The Gold Room. Thanks for tuning in. Today we have Holly Stevenson from the Gold Industry Group. Holly, thank you very much for joining me.
You're so welcome.
Taking
Happy
the time.
To be here. Thanks.
Excellent. As you know, as we discussed previously, we start every episode with the life and the times. So let's get into the life and times of Holly Stevenson.
Oh my gosh, it's fascinating. No. I grew up in Aotearoa, New Zealand, just like you.
Yes.
So I moved over here about 2 years ago coming up. Really, we love living in Perth, so I'm happy to be here. New Zealand, I grew up about an hour north of Auckland Central. In a little sort of peninsula town.
Orewa.
Was
it Orewa?
Really, really close. So further along the peninsula than Orewa. So in the Whangaparoa Peninsula, it's called.
Wow.
So beaches all around. I was raised to be a real beach snob. Self-confessed,
Okay.
and then now living in Perth, it's perfect because
exactly.
best beaches in the world. So
I think so.
yeah.
You've been down to Esperance?
I haven't yet, but I was in Exmouth a couple of weeks ago, swimming with those whale sharks.
You swam with the whale sharks?
I
So
sure
did I.
did.
Amazing, isn't it?
It was
It's
incredible.
Magic.
I could have cried.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I took a few years ago. Might have been 2020. I took my two young boys up there. And so we drove all the way up there and then just slowly made our way back down the coast. It's amazing. I love Western Australia.
Yeah.
Did you go to Turquoise Bay?
Yes, Turquoise Bay, oyster stacks, and I swam with the biggest reef shark that I've ever swum with. Well, in my head it was 5 meters. No, maybe like 1.5 meters.
Yeah.
It was pretty cute. And I
A
thought,
white tip or a black tip?
black tip, I believe.
Yeah, cool.
And it was sort of 3 foot of water. I put my head under, and I was like, oh, it's quite a big shark just there.
Yeah.
But I thought there's other food that's going to be
Oh,
interested
definitely.
in. So,
They're not interested.
I wasn't
Not
worried.
interested, yeah.
But it was great. Growing up in New Zealand, pretty idyllic. Great family with one younger sister. We just,
Why did you leave?
Why did I leave? Well, my husband, my darling husband, who I love very much, he's also an electrician like you.
Awesome.
And he wanted to come and work in the mining sector.
Yep.
Obviously, mining in New Zealand is pretty much non-existent. So
There's a couple.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but pretty much. And I guess our idea of industrial is more like commercial here. So in terms of machinery and all of that. So yeah, he wanted to come over, and because I was teaching, I thought, transferable skills. I can move, being a teacher across to here, and different curriculums and lots of different things, but also some really similar things, and didn't end up in the classroom anyway. So
yeah, that's amazing.
So he wanted to.
We
come
do
over
need
and
great.
do that.
We do need great teachers over
do.
here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So if we can take them all from New Zealand,
poach them. The pay's better.
Sell it.
Yeah. And we also need good teachers in New Zealand too.
They do.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you finished your, what made you want to become a teacher in New Zealand? Because my sister is a teacher in New Zealand, and actually so was my auntie many years ago.
Yeah, that's it, right? So there was so many, mostly women, but people in my life who were teachers when I was growing up. And I thought, the lifestyle was really great. So I had lots of aunties and my grandmother. They were all teachers, and lots of people in my world. And I loved I loved that. I used to play teacher-student with my sister, and I was always the teacher, and she'd be like, "Oh,
Bossy,
Holly,
were
yeah,
you?
absolutely. Can you not tell already?" She would be like, "Oh, is it my turn to be the teacher?" I was like, "Oh no,
You're in detention.
no, it's just that's what I do." And ironically, she is a teacher.
Oh, wow,
At
cool.
at an intermediate, like a middle school. So. Lots of people. I just liked helping people. I love to learn. I'm forever sort of listening to podcasts and reading, and that's always been a big passion of mine. So I think that's just sort of trailed into I guess working with young people. So when I was maybe 14, 15, I started working at youth camps, so like holiday camps. Whilst I was just working in hospitality and going to school. And
At 14?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then I had my first job when I was 12.
Where was it? Supermarket?
Subway.
Oh,
I was a
wow.
sandwich artist.
Oh, beautiful. I haven't heard it called that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's their name.
Really?
Yeah, I was a
Okay.
sandwich artist. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was paid $6.50 New Zealand an hour.
There's big dollars over there.
12, yeah, and it was taxed as well.
Yeah.
Highly illegal.
Your parents
probably.
charge you rent when you started working?
Not when I was studying or in school.
Okay.
Yeah, if I was to be working and not studying, then they would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the balance.
Yeah, good. Stay in school for a little bit longer
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Excuse me. Yeah.
You're right.
So, so I was doing that, and then I was part of lots of different youth groups and clubs and things, just sort of building community. I didn't have a great time at school myself, so joining some sort of extracurricular activities, fun things with
What didn't you like about school? Obviously, it wasn't the education. What?
I was
friends?
I was really good at the school part, and I loved my teachers, and I was, up the front of the class, writing all the notes down from the overhead projector, and
That took me back.
Friendships were really, really tough for me. So when I was teaching in the classroom, that was super important to me. That I was making sure that young people in my classes were building good connection with one another, and I was facilitating that in class.
That's
and
awesome.
I think it's super important, right? And something I love about our program, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But so that was tough, and then I built connections elsewhere, and that really set me off to work with young people longer term. So when I left school, I started working for a community trust, and there was a bunch of us youth workers. So I did 10 hours in school, and then 10 hours sort of voluntary, I just worked alongside young people who were really struggling. And that
What were they struggling with?
So struggling with things like just like their family life at home, maybe things like self-harm, mental ill health, those types of things. And I was pretty young at the time. We didn't, like nowadays you would do a certificate and study and make sure that you had some real grounding in that skill set. We didn't have that then, which is maybe not great. But things have changed for the better in that space I was just pretty young, so it was tough to spend time with young people who were really, really struggling.
There is actually I read an article probably maybe a month or so ago about mental health issues in New Zealand, off the charts.
Yeah.
There's a Maori fella who does like gumboot. Is it Mike?
Mike King.
Is it Mike King? That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So he's actually out there trying to make a better bloody New Zealand, isn't he?
Yeah. There's a few amazing organisations. So also a guy that I had worked with, Jay Geldard, him and his wife started E Tu Tangata, which means, standing tall. So, that's all about sort of that tall poppy syndrome that Australia and New Zealand both really struggle with.
Yep.
There's some amazing support systems and people, who are getting into schools it's pretty incredible. So I'm really grateful for that and to have been a part of that. And I worked for a few other organisations just in sort of that career transition type space for students in alternative education. It's kind of where I got my education stuff going. and for a residential care facility for young women who needed some respite for, to stay in a house for 6 months and recover. And that was mostly due to things like eating disorders and different forms of abuse and things like that they were really actively working through. So I was a support person in that space for them. And then I went.
Is this while you had your before your teaching degree?
Yeah.
And then so that's what got you into really wanting to make a change.
Exactly. So I was studying my undergrad during this time from when I finished school for 4 years, and I think I would have rather be anywhere else than studying at uni. I think I should have just done teaching straight off the bat. But of course, all of the things that I was interested in and that I was doing built into who I am today. So I obviously wouldn't change it. But hindsight's 20/20 and all of that. So I was studying English and history and art history, and a little bit of environmental psychology and things like that. And then I, a few years later, did my teaching degree, so in secondary teaching, so graduate diploma.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what led you to, obviously it was your husband. Husband, yes. Led you to this great country of ours. Mm-hmm. And what led you to, obviously with your experience, perfect for this role at the Gold Industry Group?
Yeah, well, I mean...
How did you get into that?
Strange coming from the English space to the science space, but when I was working as a teacher, I did a lot of cross-curricular learning and teaching as well. So I feel like I got a bit of that science. I worked quite closely in a team in quite a different way of learning, larger groups and things like that. So that was really cool. So I kind of felt a little bit more comfortable to come into a space, and I've certainly learned so much about obviously gold, but about STEM and the importance of that, and young people going in to study trades in STEM, super important. So
it's very important. Have you seen the Susie Urbanek episode?
I have, yes.
She's a phenomenal woman, isn't she?
Yeah.
So her, Christian Price, and a number of others. Jacoby I met the other day. She's amazing.
Incredible.
And so are you guys have some collaboration with Core Learning Foundation? Yeah,
so we'd always like to have more. And so I actually met with them really recently to set up a new MOU, I guess, to refresh that sort of, I guess, contra understanding that we're all in this together, right? All of our education programs that are particularly to do with gold, but in the resources sector, the aim is the same. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be collaborating. And, their program is different to ours. It's a different setup to ours, but the goals are very similar in terms of we want to inspire the next generation, right, to go in and, I guess, become like powerhouses in their respective fields, whatever those might be, and fill those skill shortages and do what they're passionate about. So, really excited to work with them. I think we're hoping to include some of their information and maybe some links, QR codes, something like that, in our new gold resources kits that we send out, sort of rock sample boxes to different schools across the country.
What age?
So I mean any school. So really from year 4 and up.
Awesome.
And
fantastic.
So I got teaching.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Most schools it starts at high school.
Yeah.
Needs to start a hell of a lot bloody earlier, doesn't it?
We agree. Yeah, we agree.
That's fantastic. That's really good. Is that the mantra of what's the mantra of the Gold Industry Group? What's the main goal of the Gold Industry Group?
The group itself? Oh gosh, I'm sure we have one, but I mean it's all around connecting community to gold. Really making sure that that our community, our society at large, knows the value of gold, knows what it's used for, why we are extracting it, why we're processing it, and that it's so important to create some impact around that. Yeah. Gold Industry Group's National Gold Education Program, Primary STEM Incursion, offers Year 4 to 6 students the chance to encounter gold as a mineral and its important uses in our everyday lives. Facilitators who actively work in the gold industry here in Australia talk about exploration, excavation, processing and of course sustainability in a way that's easy to understand. Our National Gold Education Program is vital.
I think it's really important to show kids that there's plenty of jobs in the gold industry for everyone and anything. It doesn't matter where your career path is going to be going.
I think I would like to do emergency responses and help out with sick people, the fires, anything like that.
It makes me think about how we could make mining more sustainable.
The facilitators today were very knowledgeable, they were very passionate about the industry, and certainly the children were engaged.
So what does a day to day look like for you in your position?
Me as the national education lead. It is, I mean, it's so varied, which is what I love. So sometimes I'm at my computer at my desk coordinating facilitators to go into schools and run our incursions. Sometimes I get to go in and run those incursions, which I love. It gets me back into the classroom and creates a really nice balance that I enjoy. Yep. And sometimes I get to do trainings. I'd love to do more. But yeah, training our facilitators up. So making sure that they feel really prepared to go into a classroom. They might not have stepped foot into a classroom since they were at school themselves.
Oh, wow.
It could have been a long time. And they're just so passionate and dedicated. They want to get back in. They want to inspire. They want to share their knowledge, their passion. They want to talk about gold. They want to show off their rocks if they're geologists, you know.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
Yeah.
How do you think the education arm in Australia has changed over the years?
It's a hard one to answer, having been in the role for not super long time. Like
Historically, you must. I mean, you'd know what we were doing, what was being done previously to what we're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on it before that. The likes of university and high school was too late to be talking about what young people want to do with their futures, and I think the resources sector in Australia. So getting in early, making sure that we're having those touch points for students a lot earlier. I think that's a massive change that we've seen. And also, I guess...
Is there any pushback from schools or teachers? I know I told you about what... No?
Well, no, we don't have to really do that much advertising, really. Like schools are booking sessions left, right and centre. Yeah, and we're getting, schools that want to come back time and time again and, every year... seeing the same
That's great.
schools.
It's more understanding about the industry is really what's needed, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's also evolving, right? A teacher's perspective. I would hope, and I'm seeing those shifts happening. I think even just in the last 18 months, the feedback that we're getting from teachers.
So is it the teachers have to understand the mining industry if they're going to be talking to their students about the mining industry, Well,
yeah, that's our support, right? So that's what we would like to come in, and I guess other programs are supporting that in different ways. But for us, the incursion of our gold class sessions is super important because we can come in. We can talk about gold. We can ask, what do you know already about gold? And this is what we can tell you. This is what we can share. And then teachers can then use our resources to springboard into further learning because they're already doing it. It's already in the curriculum. Earth and space science, some geology. Talking about the gold rush in year 5.
Awesome.
All those types of things. They're already there. So any way that we can support teachers to be able to springboard into that learning is pretty cool. So,
what do you think is working in the schools right now, or within the gold industry group, to get more STEM knowledge into the schools?
Well, I think it's the fact that we've got like real people sharing their real stories. Like, I don't know about you, but I was not really listening to my teachers, and I wasn't really listening to my parents when I was at school.
Shit, I'm not listening to, I wasn't listening to any teachers, nah.
No. So,
Certainly not my parents either.
yeah. I mean, even if they're saying all the right things, which
For
I'm
sure.
sure that you are to your children,
Yep.
and I'm sure that when I was teaching, I was saying all of the right things. But of course it's falling on deaf ears because why wouldn't it? They're teenagers and young people. So having someone who is, passionate about what they do, they are invested in a community really of the gold mining industry, and they are doing this job. They can talk to you about it. They can talk about their authentic journey and their pathway into the industry.
Yep.
That's super meaningful for a student, particularly the senior students, but absolutely rubs off on our year 4s, 5s and 6s, 100%.
That is bloody good. And look, it's powerful. Should we talk a little bit about the board?
Yeah.
You got any big names on the board?
Oh, wow, you saw one of them recently.
I
yeah.
did.
So we're led by Wayne Bramwell from West Gold, and our vice is Rebecca Choddy from Northern Star Resources.
Wow.
And so, yeah, absolute powerhouses. We're very, very, very stoked to have the board that we have. Yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Wayne is a exceptional man. I've asked him
yeah.
a few times to come on the podcast. Come on, Wayne, hurry up, mate.
Wow.
He's so
Wayne.
busy. Imagine the. He doesn't strike me as a bloke who stresses out about much. But it's probably all that time in the water surfing. But also, when I heard him speak the other day, I just thought, I actually got something from it. Mm-hmm. Out of all the CEOs and everyone that stood up to talk about their business, he just knew. He was so comfortable up there. He just knew what he was talking about, and he backed his company.
Yeah.
He backs everything that he does. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, and just super kind, super genuine. Wants to get to know our team. Is at our events, hooning around, chatting with everyone, and just super authentic, super genuine. So
yeah, that's what you need.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
What you need. What are some of the most rewarding moments that you've had so far in your career?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think every time a student figures out something new that they didn't know before, right? And that's such a classic answer for a teacher. But particularly in this role, any time that we've got a young person coming up at a career expo, we go to a lot of career expos, and they're coming up and saying, "Oh, I remember when you guys came to my school. I remember this logo, or I remember looking at these rocks, or using this, this lens, or whatever it might be." That's really special to me because, obviously from a business standpoint, it's good brand recognition. Yep. But more than that, that's a lasting impact, and that's really, really special. So,
are you guys heading to IMARC?
Yes, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So
how many people will you take with you to IMARC? Because obviously you got a booth, normal booth, 2 meters by 2 meters or whatever it is.
Like staff wise,
yeah.
I think it'll just be our CEO Christy Riley, and our membership and events coordinator. Maybe I can snake a ticket. I'm not sure.
Hopefully.
But we'll be putting on a breakfast there.
I'm going to need to snake a ticket to that.
Yeah. I'll hook you up.
Me and the big
saying
fella.
I can hook you up. I don't know.
Look, you just talk to your people, and
Yeah.
I'll just ask my people if I can.
Okay.
Come on, that's very mafia type just there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. So no, we'll be there. We've just been at Diggers and Jellers with our leadership breakfast there. Really exciting times for us.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Well, look, you guys are doing bloody great things. The bigger picture, what's next on the horizon
for
the gold industry group and education
Yeah.
in all of Australia? Is the gold industry group across all of Australia?
Yeah,
it's
it is.
It's national, right?
It is, yeah. So we've got members. we are WA centric, I guess. Yeah,
It makes sense.
It does. It makes sense. And so one of our. I guess that would be a massive goal of mine, in a strategic sense, I guess. to be making sure that we have as much reach and engagement that's authentic and meaningful as possible. So for us, that probably looks like heading to more events throughout, over East. We've recently done like a bit of a webinar for a career platform, which was really great. So
Targeted to who?
Targeted to students over East in particular.
To what age? Targeted to what age?
So that would have been years sort of 9 through to 12. Yeah.
I don't mean my face to change just then.
That's okay.
I just think...
Too late.
Too late.
Too late, yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, so it's a tough one, right? Because you have to make sure that you're pitching your content really well. I think that's something that our facilitators do extremely well, and that our gold class sessions do super, super well, is targeting knowledge about gold and touching on careers and what you could do, who you could be, that anyone can work in the gold industry, and sort of broadening those horizons right from year 4, which is, that's the aim. But the careers stuff from a school sense often happens a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about the mining industry or how it's perceived, what would it be?
One thing with my magic wand.
I mean, you can go 3 if you want, but one's easier.
About me changing something about the mining industry.
Yeah, so how it's perceived, how the mining industry is perceived.
Yeah, I guess it would be that knowledge, what the gold industry group is, like the messaging that we're sending out, right? Like it's changing the perception about gold and what we use it for, and that it's not just, what we have students at the beginning of a session saying, it's money, right? It's dentistry and it's jewelry. And it's like, no, there's just this huge plethora of uses for this pretty amazing material. So wanting the mining industry and the gold industry to talk about that more, to discuss the sustainability more, to discuss the impact that they're having on small and large communities that is long-lasting for generations. This stuff is happening. There's pretty amazing technological strides in machinery and AI and all these types of things that is happening all the time. And so part of our aim, our goal as an industry body is to collect and provide that messaging, send out that messaging to the community. But I think we should talk about it more, right? And not just on LinkedIn. So
definitely,
maybe on a podcast.
That's what you're doing right now, and also that's what the Gold Industry Group is actually doing.
Yeah,
you're putting teachers into schools. You're getting that information out there to the age groups that need to see it.
Yep, absolutely.
Starting at that young age all the way through to high school. Because I've said this a few times, and I firmly believe that once you get to 15, 16 years old, you're more susceptible to listening to outside sources, right? And not exactly coming up with your own plan, and I don't know, I'll probably cut some of this out, but you've got my thing, right, is why go to university when you can be a truck driver at $150,000 a year? And you got debt straight away, if you go to university, you got debt. So that's what I'm that's what I'm talking to my kids about. That's when I talk to anybody in the industry. I say, look, we've probably got to put more emphasis into these young kids to make sure that they understand that it's them who are going to be driving this industry and driving this resource sector forward. Yeah. So anyway, that's my bloody thought.
Well, no, it is a good one, right? And I think it's pretty special. One of my favourite things is a young person coming up at an expo or in a classroom setting, and they're going, well, I don't think mining is like what I'm interested in because I want to be a nurse. Yep. And I'm like, let me tell you all about it. And, then we can, it's like, I guess one of my little mantras or something I end up saying a lot is like pretty much anything you want to do, we can connect to the gold industry.
Exactly.
In a meaningful way. That means you're going to have an absolutely fantastic, exciting, dynamic career. Like we can do that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And they're going, I can do that.
So many mining companies have nurses on site.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Nursing is a major one. Or, I really want to work with animals, or I'm really interested in sustainability. I'm like,
Environmental.
I'm like, we need archaeologists, we need surveyors, we need people in exploration. I mean, I can go on preaching to the converted, right? But like it's, I find that such a special moment, and it happens often. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
The passion. Yeah. The passion's contagious.
Yeah.
You know, so when you take that out and take it into schools, or even when you're with your own staff, they'll see that. I like that. I love that. That's awesome. My last question for you, Holly, is what's the best bit of advice that you've either received or given?
Oh man, such a great question, and one I've been thinking about a lot. Something I learned very early on in my teaching career, which I think has shaped me just exponentially, I think is I'm a sensitive soul and I'm an emotional soul. And that's all well and good, but sometimes I can get a little bit in my head around when there's a dilemma and when there's a difficult conversation or there's some kind of hard time. And something that my previous principal I worked with said was, rely on the data, and that will help you shape how you're going to deal with this dilemma or this difficult conversation. And that has shaped me personally in all different types of relationships in my world, but also professionally too. And it's not about being hard and cold and wanting to, take the emotion out of it. It's actually about shaping that emotion that's there, and that, as you can imagine throughout my working life, like empathy is a huge part of why I do what I do, and it falls into every single facet of my life. So using that and thinking about, okay, what's been said, what's been done, what are we aiming towards, and shaping it. So using the data to help with your dilemmas is, it sounds...
It doesn't sound... to me, I get that more than anybody else.
Yeah,
I really do. That resonates with me more than anything else, because people can make decisions based on a little thought process, but unless you've got that data in front of you, and the more data you have, the better the decision, the better the outcome.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. I really like that. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
Look, Holly, thank you very much for coming and spending the time with us. Your story to get here today, not here, but in Western Australia is awesome. Your younger years, and obviously, the empathy that you did build up working with those at-risk youths. Hopefully there's some people out there that see this and remember everything that you did for them, all those positive things that you've done over the years. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for tuning into another episode on The Gold Room. This one, all the emotion, all the feels. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.